All right, so welcome. Thanks for joining for the evening portion of our Tiger for the Wu Jing Xi. So we're going to continue on. Basically, same as this morning. Going to be repeating pretty much the same information. I'm sure I might possibly add something. Hopefully, I don't forget anything. But so let's get started. So I think like a general recap, of course, of which animal we're doing and the relationship to the organ, and some basic understanding of the relationships of, well, I guess, understanding what that organ does in Chinese medicine terms. So the first animal that we're working on last week and this week is the tiger. And so the tiger related to the liver. And so the liver is with the element of wood. Now it's important, I think we should change that concept of wood to a concept of tree, in the sense that wood is obviously just stagnant and it's never changing except for unless it's going to like decompose or something. But rather a tree is alive and just much like our liver and much like we are, of course. So a tree has a directionality in terms of growth, that the roots grow down and out. The tree, the branches grow up and out in all directions, and then the trunk grows wide in all directions. So this is a very important concept because our liver has this type of energetics, that the liver wants to go and move in all directions. And not only for the liver, but also the liver is in charge of governing the free flow of qi and energy for all of the organs. The liver together with another organ that's called the sanjiao. Sanjiao is not an actual physical organ per se, but it's known in Chinese medicine as the sanjiao, or the triple burner, and it acts like an organ, which is also responsible for distributing the qi and making sure that the qi of the organs all flow in the correct direction. Meaning that if you eat something, the direction of your stomach should go down, not out, right? If it were to be coming backwards, then that would be counterflow and there would be a problem. So the liver is responsible for the directional flow of all the qi of the organs. Something else that's very important with liver, of course, has a very strong association to blood, but the liver also governs the sinews, and so like the tendons and the ligaments. And now this is important because as we go through the exercises, and particularly we'll see it mostly in the hands and fingers, and I think mainly because that's just the most tangible area for us to be able to feel and connect with, but in actuality it really should be this awareness throughout our entire body. And we'll see it with other positions as well. But so with that being said, the tiger has, or every animal I should say, has their own mudra, or their own hand positions. And so the tiger will have two, but the most important is tiger claws. And so when we start the exercise, and as we go through the two different positions of the tiger, we're going to have tiger claws that are going to come out. So therefore, we're going to bend the knuckles and flex the fingers, right? So we can have our tiger claws. Now it's important because, we're doing tendons and ligaments. And so here's a very controllable, tangible place where we're able to feel and control those ligaments. Of course, we can do that throughout other parts of our body, but this is the most accessible for us. So it's important that as you do it, that we have that connection. And then even so, you can feel and see not only the fingers, but then starting through the back of the hand. And then you can also see as we flex through the back of the forearm, etc. Okay, so because since this is the liver, we're working on blood, we're working on tendons and ligaments, it's important that this aspect of practice is activated and we put our intention in it, so that way we can gain the most of our practice. Okay, so just a brief recap of that. So the liver, the element is wood, and our animal is tiger. Okay, and so the liver is responsible for a free flow of qi for all the organs and throughout the whole body. And then the liver also governs the sinews and the tendons. So that's pretty much the most important things that we need to know at the moment for this exercise. Okay, so from there, then we'll go ahead and get started. And we're going to just review the first position of the tiger, and then we're going to go into the second position. Okay, so now to review the first position, let's see, it's so blurry. There we go. All right, I'm going to stand closer. You're not going to see obviously my face, but because I want you to focus on my hands first. So, of course, as before we begin, we should start in a neutral position. Here, I'll go and stand back. So we should start in a neutral position with our feet together. Feet together, and we can overlap our hands. Place it just below your belly, bringing your elbows into the sides. Slightly bending the knees, then sitting down like on a bar stool, chin gently tucked in, tongue resting on the roof of the mouth. Then here you can just take a moment to center your breath, clear your mind. And then once you're ready to begin, drop your hands down to your sides. Then we're going to step out with our left foot. Okay, and we're going to bring our weight 50-50 distribution. And then here with the Wu Qin Shi, we're going to begin by raising our arms up, palms facing up as we inhale. Then bend your elbows, bring your palms in towards your chest, rotate palms facing down, and then we're going to press downwards. Then we're going to repeat this 2 more times. So we're going to inhale deep into your abdomen. As your hands come up, palms towards your chest, rotate palms facing down, and then pressing down. And last time, arms come up, deep breath in, and down. So, a reminder that externally the hands do this type of movement, but I think it's important to understand that a lot of the external movements that we see with various Qigong and exercises, they're kind of an external or a view to the inside of what's happening inside. So for example, the analogy I think I used this morning was that of the tank on top of a toilet, or because inside we have like a buoy, there's a float. And so what you can imagine, sorry not to think of the toilet, but imagine the water filling up in the tank, and that's as you inhale. So we inhale down into our lower abdomen, and then as your abdomen starts to expand and your chi starts to fill up into your middle cavity and then into your chest, that your arms are kind of like that float. So as the cavity fills with air, the arms rise up, and then we're kind of bringing inwards, so we're consolidating, and then as the arms press down, it's kind of like that of a French press. So this is kind of like a filter, and we're consolidating, say, the good stuff down into our dantian, and as you're exhaling, expelling out what we don't want, right? So inhaling deep down into your lower abdomen, and then as you fill and as you inhale, everything expands and fills up, and at the same time our arms gently raise up. And then once our breath is full, up into our chest, we bend our elbows, bringing the palms towards the chest, rotate palms facing down, and then so like a French press, gently filtering and compacting and consolidating the good down here as we exhale and expel the bad. Okay? So after we do that 3 times, then we're going to begin the first portion of the tiger. So from here, we're going to bring our hands, palms facing down and rotating inward slightly. And then we bring out the tiger claws. So I really want, of course we don't want to be extremely tight and stiff, but you should imagine that you are gripping something. So there should be some gripping because we do want to engage and activate the tendons and the ligaments of the hand. So we're going to be dropping our chin, looking down, and I'll stand back in a moment. But then from here, we're going to form two fists. And I like to form the fist in a way that we do finger by finger by finger, so that we do also create a twisting action. Because otherwise, if we were to just grab, it's kind of very static. So I like the idea. I guess maybe it's from all my Tai Chi background. But we have this coiling, twisting. So if we start with our little finger, and then ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumb. So we'll kind of have like a natural coiling. Because then from here, we're going to bend the elbows, lifting up. Then once we get to our shoulders, we're going to open our hands. And rotate, palms facing up. Then we're going to press upwards. All right, so I'm going to move here so we can see the hands. And so then from here, we're looking up and we're pressing up. Then we're going to bring out the tiger claws, grip. And then just as we did from the lifting up, starting with your pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, we're going to grip and form a fist. That's going to create a spiraling effect with the arms. And then from here, we're going to pull straight down. Try to keep your arms parallel to each other as you come down. And also follow with your gaze. And then once your elbows are by your side, we can open our hands, bring your palms facing down, and then we're going to press down. And we press down and follow with your gaze as well. Okay, so now we can repeat that. Let me stand back here so we can see full body. So we're looking down, gripping, forming two fists by finger, pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb. We rotate. And we're going to inhale as we lift up. And at this moment we can exhale, pause, open your fists, and then we're going to press up. We can inhale as we come up. And big stretch, claws come out, you can exhale, and then forming a fist again by pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, the arms are twisting. And then as we inhale, you can pull back down. Once your elbows are by your side, open your palms, and then we press. And then hands by your side. So now, of course, now in addition to just your fingers and accentuating these tendons and ligaments and the gripping, obviously this first movement we lift up, and so there should be some emphasis on our ribs that as we stretch up, you can feel the ribs opening and expanding as you lift up, so creating room for the liver and all the organs so that we can have more free flow of the energetics, so there's not this compression from the ribs. So we lift up, creating this extra space, allowing everything to move freely, and for the chi to move freely. And then as we come back down. Okay, so we have this nice opening and lifting of the rib cage, and then settling back down. So in this way, having direct relationship to the organ itself, but then also focusing on some of the aspects that are correlated to the liver, such as the tendons and the ligaments. Okay, so that's the first position for the tiger. And then let's just take a quick break, and then we'll go and start with the second position. Okay, so now let's get started with the second position of the tiger. So there's kind of a few working parts that we need to practice and become comfortable with. But so first, let me do a demonstration. I think it's easier from there if you can have an understanding of what it is that we are trying to achieve, and then we can break it down into pieces. So for the demonstration, so now we just finished the first position of the tiger. Now moving into the second position, we roll the body up, arms coming up the sides, we reach out, claws come out, we're on one leg, feet together, relax the hands, rolling the body up, reaching up, claws come out, we reach forward, looking ahead, back is straight, arms near the ears, then we drag down into a squatting position, release the hands, rolling up the body, shift your weight onto the other leg, heel comes down, claws come out. We bring both feet parallel, and we bring the hands down. And then from there we would repeat it. So there's a few things to mention. So in addition to the tiger claws, here we're going to have a different type of hand position. I just always refer to it as a hollow fist. But basically, we can gently touch the ring or middle finger and thumb, and then the other fingers just gently close in together, but keeping it empty inside. So when we start the second position, we'll begin with the hollow fist as the arms come up, and then the claws will come out. Okay? So regardless if we're moving from left side center to the right, we always have this rolling movement of the body. So that's something that you can also practice on your own, separate from everything else. Is this idea to roll the body and having the back nice and flexible. So it's very much creating the wave-like motion. So to get started, you're going to want to bring your knees slightly forward. And so we're starting at the lower end of the body, so the knees come forward, then the hips come forward. And as the knees and hips come forward, the upper body is slightly leaning backwards. And then once we get to the hips and then to the stomach, then the bottom starts to come back. So at that point, the wave's starting to come up over the back. So we come down, right? Okay, so you can take a moment and practice that. And sometimes it's good to stand in front of the mirror so you can watch. And so from here, now with the hollow fist, so before we go to the left and right, let's go to the center because that's a bit easier. So as the wave starts to roll up your body, you bring your hands along the side and start trying to keep your elbows as far back as you can. You don't want your elbows out here. You're trying to keep the elbows back as much as possible. We're sliding and bringing the arms up the side of the body. So then from here, as we roll up, we'll do it from the side. So as you roll up, then, of course, once you get here, the elbows will start to come out, but we're going to reach up as high as you can go. Bringing the arms up next to the ears. And then from here, we're going to lean forward with the claws out. And then we're going to drag and sit down. So it's important here that as you bring the arms up, you want to keep your arms as close to your ears as possible. Because now we're really working on stretching and elongating the spine and the muscles, the paraspinal muscles, all the muscles along the back. So we don't want to arch the back and hunch the back forward. We really want to have the back really nice and straight, and the shoulders really nice and straight, the shoulder blades. So, for example, if you have a difficult time bending forward, I used to always tell my students that it would be more correct to stop here, and then from here, just go down to this position, versus rolling up and then doing something like this, where the arms are no longer near the ears and my back is rolled over, but I'm bending over at the waist. The goal is not to necessarily just bend over at the waist, but the goal is to straighten and stretch the back and all the muscles in the back. So that's why I say it's more correct to just stay in this position, or if you can go slightly forward, this would be more correct than doing something like this. All right? So just because, let's say the end goal, of course, would be to keep the back straight and lean forward as far as possible, trying to keep your back parallel to the ground, so I can go a little bit further, and then drag it down. But so the objective of that part is arms near the ears, back straight, looking up, right? So that's the key. It's not about to see necessarily how far you can lean forward. Of course, that's the ultimate goal, but if you're not able to, don't compromise your structure to try to fit like an aesthetic, okay? So that's very important, because then doing this, you're not going to get much out of it. But if you're doing this, you're going to get more out of it, okay? So that's the key. So why don't you take a moment and do a few, and I'll just take a look and see how things are going. Okay, so not too bad. Yeah, everybody's looking pretty good. So now let's incorporate the second part. So which is where it's actually the first part. So typically we roll up, and then we're going to extend out our left leg, and claws come down. And then we bring our left leg back, and then we're going to roll up. We go to the middle, and then we drag our claws down, and then we roll up again, and then we extend our right leg, and then legs come together. So that would be that's one set. And then so typically we can do twice, or however many we like to. But at least minimum is usually we go through it twice. Okay, so let's practice the next part. So now that we kind of have the rolling of the chi up the body, down. So the next thing is, as we roll up, you're going to shift your weight onto one leg, and then we're going to extend out the opposite leg, the other leg, and place the heel on the ground. So we should be looking to get a bit of a stretch here in the hamstrings. And this morning we were kind of talking about it, and I think if you're fairly flexible, I don't think this stretch is so noticeable in this position. But I think if you're a little bit tighter, it's definitely be a little bit more noticeable. Okay. So the arms, so So don't forget, so the body rolls up, the arms next to the side, or the hands next to your sides, next to the rib sides. And then you shift your weight, extending out the foot or the leg, and the claws come down. So now here, be careful, because when this leg comes out, we don't want the hip to do like this. We want to learn how to sit down here in the anatomy. We call it inguinal crease, from the front of the hip bone here down to the groin, where when you lift your leg up, the crease here at your thigh. So sitting down into this pocket, as opposed to sticking out your hip. So we don't want the leg to go like this, but rather trying to sit down, extending out. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of shift, but the idea is not to stick your hips out. So trying to sit down as you extend your leg out. So if we're just kind of looking at the lower body, so we roll up, we shift our weight, place the heel down. Then the foot's going to come back. Then we're going to roll the body. We're reaching out in front. Then we're dragging down, sitting down. Then we roll up the body again. This time shifting your weight to the other side. Sitting down. Claws are going to come out. And then this foot comes back again. And you repeat. So we can repeat. So we can go left, middle, right, middle, left, middle, right, middle. All right, let's do it from the front. And then I'll do one from the side view. So hands are here, rolling up the side. Shift your weight to the right. Extending the leg out, heel down. Claws come down. And bring your feet together. Dragging down. Then relax your fingers. Empty fist. Rolling up the body. Reaching up high. Looking up. Claws come out. Extending. And gripping down. And I'll just go this far. So that way we can also see what else can be appropriate. And then from here, dragging your fingernails down. Sitting down into this pose. Release the hands. Empty fist, rolling up the side of the body. Reaching up, shift your weight to the other side. Heel down, claws come down. We should have this leg straight. Then we bring the foot back. Release the claws, rolling up. Reaching out, up, and then forward. Dragging down. And then we repeat. So let's repeat. This time we'll stand to the side. This is my left side. So rolling up. Shifting my weight to the right. Heel down. Claws come out. So try not to stick out too much, but try to keep the back somewhat straight. Feet come together. Rolling up, empty fist. Reaching up high, straight. And then this time I'll just do it like this. In case you're not able to go all the way down, this is fine. And remember, arms up near the ears as much as possible. Back straight. Dragging down. Sitting down. Release the claws. Empty fist rolling up. Shift your weight to the other side, the left, heel down, claws come out. Feet come together. Drag them down and relax. And then last time for the center, so we roll up. Reaching out, I'm going to come all the way down this time. And dragging down. And then we can stand up. Okay. Yeah, so how do you like that? So let's everybody practice for a few moments on your own, and we'll take a look and see how things are going. Okay, so to end today, let's go ahead and review everything from the beginning. So let's start with the opening position, and then we're going to do 2 reps of the first position, and then we're going to move right into the second position, and then I'll show you how to close the tiger position. Okay? And here we go, with a little focus. All right, so to begin, yes, let's keep our feet together, interlock our hands, placing below the belly. And let's just take a moment to catch our breath, center ourselves, clear our mind. And then so from here, on an exhale, let your hands fall down to the side. Shift your weight to the right, and with my left foot stepping out, shoulder width apart. So here we inhale, arms come up. Palms coming in, palms facing down. Exhale as you press down. Second time, inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms pressing down. And last time, inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms pressing down. Okay, so the first position of tiger, drop your chin down, looking down, hands come, palms facing down, tiger claws come out, and then forming 2 fists, finger by finger, so pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb, as you rotate, and then we lift up, as you inhale, and you're going to exhale, sinking down, open your palms, and then inhale as you press up. Claws come out, exhale. And forming 2 fists, pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger. And then inhale as you pull down. You can pause, exhale, open your fists. Inhale. Looking down, exhale. All right, once again, forming a fist, pinky, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb, pulling up. Open your fist, palms pressing upwards, lifting the rib cage. Deep breath in. Tiger claws, grip, forming 2 fists, twist, and pulling down. Open the palms, open the fists, and press down. So then from here, we'll move right into the second position. So forming the empty fist, we roll up the body. I'm starting on my left side, shift my weight to the right, heel comes down, claws come out, feet together, sitting down, dragging down, release the claws, empty fist, rolling up the body, reaching up and out, claws are out, looking forward, keeping the back straight, dragging down into the squatted position. Release the fist, or release the claws, empty fist rolling up. Shift your weight to the other side, heel comes down, claws come out. Feet come together, release the claws, Empty fist, rolling up the body. Claws out, down. Dragging down into the squatted position. So then go ahead and stand up. So from here, bring the hands up, in, and down. And then from there, we would go into the next animal position. All right.